Today we have a very exciting video with a brand new disc to the Innova lineup, the Pro Gorgon. A disc that is supposed to merge the ease and precision of a fairway driver, but at the same time allows you to reach maximum distance with it. I will say this disc is feeling absolutely money in the hand, super comfortable. It's kind of got that same rim as a Scorch, a Heat, even a Roadrunner, I believe, where it's just super smooth on the underneath side and it almost protrudes a little bit, making more of like a rounded edge there. This one isn't as pronounced as those discs, I don't think, but it does feel great in my hand. It also seems like it's got a little micro bead, which is kind of interesting. This is legitimately my first throw ever with this thing, also first throw of the day, so cut me some slack here. We got a little bit of a tailwind and our basket is 340 feet away. I guess I'll try to throw it as flat as I can. Typically that means it comes out on a little bit of hyzer, but I am curious later on with that -2 if this is gonna flip up at all. Oh yeah, it flipped up. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that was the best shot ever, but I also feel like immediately I could kind of tell how glidey the disc is going to be if I put it on a more penetrating angle and maybe not as high up as well. That was pretty effortless in the grand scheme of things on how far it went, and it was my first throw of the day, so you never know what's gonna happen. Only because they had the same type of rim, I also brought out a Heat and the Scorch, so let's just give those a throw or two real quick. So I feel like the Scorch, one that I have always raved about. Love the Scorch. I think I threw it mainly the same power there. The Scorch kind of held hyzer versus, even though I threw the Gorgon a little higher, it kind of had that nice flip up out of it. You can kind of see the Heat glide there. I mean, that's a real nice shot. That Heat has always been a little bit more stable than I think it should be for a -3. Now, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself by any means because I've thrown it literally one time, but I have seen great things about the Gorgon. And what I'm curious about throughout this video is like, is this going to be the disc of the year for us AM players? I always feel like there's one disc that everybody kind of hops on board, loves it, and with this like effortless type of disc and a 10-speed, it could do some really good things for us AM players, I think. We'll try to kind of put them out on a little bit of hyzer, see if we can just kind of dunk them to the basket. Important to note that there is a little bit of a headwind too. My drone is going nuts up there. Yeah, a little left side. Put that on a little bit more hyzer, but it's got such an easy flip up out of it, so I'm excited to throw some more max distance shots to see how well it does and how far we can truly push this thing. Right now I feel like I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a warm up, similar to what I feel like this Scorch is gonna do, but if I throw it the same, I don't think it'll have as much flip. I think it might be a little more stable, at least this UV one. So I try to throw that kind of like the same hyzer. And without a lot of power, you can see how the Scorch kind of just stays on the hyzer the whole way. I'd have to throw that one a bit harder. There, I gave that one. The Heat, I gave it a little bit more power. You can kind of see that flip up and actually turned a little bit on that right side. Here may be what you guys want to see a little bit more of, but this is 395 feet to the basket, which is honestly a pretty good rip for me as well. So I'm not even sure I'm gonna get any of these discs there, but it will definitely show us a true flight of kind of a max power AM distance shot. From what I've seen out of it, I think I gotta put it on maybe a little bit of hyzer. Watch it flip and turn is what I want. Oh wow, it turns a lot. Huh, interesting. Okay, that flipped maybe a little bit more than I had planned it to. We put it on some great hyzer, great height for it to actually fly the whole way. But I mean, that thing just took off right. I might have to put something around here where I can actually mark to see how far that went. We'll go with this Scorch next though. You can kind of see how much more stable the Scorch is. Does that get to the hill? That's at the bottom of the hill, so that's got to be probably 20 feet short. So in the 370s maybe. But the Scorch, and I'm not trying to compare these like their close flight numbers. Like I said, I brought them out mainly because of their rim style. But the Scorch is just so much more stable than the Gorgon. So that's definitely something that I would have to get used to and understand the angles with the Gorgon. I tried too hard with the heat, but the heat flew pretty much like the Gorgon. I feel like it landed in the same spot too, so that's kind of hilarious. Whether or not I threw them close to the basket, I definitely think it's great to note, because some of those shorter shots, 340 and in, you can kind of throw them a bit softer and you can watch the flip up out of them, get a little bit more control out of them maybe. But once you kind of start putting some more power on them, you can just see how that Gorgon took off. And that is a lack of experience, but also just how kind of understable and how much turn I can get out of the disc. So I try to leave my bag down there to get my distance for the Gorgon, but the grass is just a little bit too tall. I can't actually hit it very well. I'm getting numbers all over the place and I don't feel comfortable telling you. We'll see with the Scorch if I can get that marking. So with the Scorch, I'm hitting 360 most often, and we threw it pretty straight, yeah, about 30 feet from the basket. So a little shorter than I had said back there. And I felt like I did get a pretty nice flight out of the Scorch as well. If you guys are interested in picking up a Gorgon or any other discs really, go hit the link down in my description, discgolfdealsusa.com. And at checkout, it'll automatically apply 10% off if you use that code. I'm treating this shot as if we have a Mando left of this center tree. So I'm just gonna try to put these a little wider and see how well they kind of hold that Anhyzer. Wow, that's pretty. It did start to come out there, but that's kind of a pretty turnover shot. Maybe a little bit more power and it could be real nice. Kind of hold it over the entire way. I really wasn't sure what to expect. I mean, that was my first attempt. Oh, I threw it too low. Get down. I mean, the Scorch, we know throughout the other throws, is definitely more stable than the Gorgon. I need to give that a lot more height, a lot more angle for it to keep pushing over. Now with the heat, I feel like this is what the disc was designed to do. And sometimes I can't get it to do that. Too much. That's what I was worried about with the Gorgon. Well, you know, 1 for 3. At least we got to see what the Gorgon was gonna do. You don't even need a putter when you throw the Gorgon. It can putt and drive. Honestly, guys, I'm not trying to like overhype this disc right now. I definitely need some more experience with it before I talk too much about it. It does seem like a disc that is going to benefit a lot of AM arms, a lot of slower speed arms. I'm gonna give it one more toss out here in the field. It's getting a little hot. I've seen kind of what I've wanted to see out of it, but one more max distance shot with it. See if I can correct it, see what distance we can get. Am I gonna get the turn? I get a little bit of turn out of it. I really didn't think, yeah, that's probably, I don't know, I don't even think that's probably 350. Maybe 350, 360, maybe. This time I got a whole basket to hit. So we should get an accurate reading. Yep, just kind of what I thought. I'm getting 360 to 363. Not the furthest, but not bad for a 10 speed, I feel like. This thing is going to take some getting used to. I do think it is going to be a pretty decent disc though. Some nice hyzer flips out of it, which is what I like to throw. But I want to do like a full round only with the Gorgon, like all my drives, just to like get to know it a little bit better. And I also think it'd be kind of a fun challenge. So more to come with the Gorgon. If there's any discs in specific that you want me to try to compare with the Gorgon, let me know down in the comments and we could probably get that done too. I think this is going to be a pretty popular disc this year. But what do you guys think? Have you thrown one? If you have, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and we will see you on the next one.